he gets into the 95 of Bolts. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
Smooth stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula iRacing League. We are at Silverstone, the British Grand Prix, and already drivers are starting to get gridded up here. We are starting things off with the sprint race. On pole, it's Raymond Aguilar, the defending champion. Jaden Calloway starting second. Christian Gritzko starts third. AJ Brenner starting fourth. Nick Peterson starts fifth. Shazi Zuhair starting sixth. Antonio Bianchi starting seventh. Carl Hartwell starts eighth. Julia Cervone starting ninth. Nick Beaver starting 10th. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, and it's actually his birthday. He's starting 11th, the number 25 machine. Ryan Tebow starting 12th. Cycled on back, Michael Fairchild starting 13th. Peter Rettinger starts 14th. Leo Delma starting 15th. Xavier Zanave, the flying Frenchman, starts 16th. Ben Depew starting 17th. Jacob Bramley starting 18th. Andrew Neri starting 19th. David Iezzi starting 20th. Julian Medore starting 21st. Devin Hughes starts 22nd. Jace Meyer starting 23rd. Jeremy Barber starting 24th. And who do we have there at the end? It's Eric Gullery going to round out the 25-car grid here today. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. As drivers will frequently have this broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor. If not, they just about always go back and watch this thing over again. So we're waiting on Bramley and Guillory to make their way out onto the grid. And it's going to be a very hectic start here, I think, at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Now, this is round 7 of Season 8. As we get ready for the lights to turn on, and once they dim, we are underway. Oh, I saw a puff of smoke. I think that was Callaway in the 37, and already there's problems on the start. AJ Brenner, no, who was that? That was Christian Gritzko. Gets a little bit loose, gets into Ray Aguilar, and already the crashes will be coming out in force. Let's see who's all involved in that one. It's going to be a bunch, I think. One of the fans saying, clean race this week. Spoiler alert, you are wrong. Now, involved in incidents, I show Nick Beaver, Julia Cervone, Jeremy Barber, Ray Aguilar, all tied up in incidents. Let's see what happened to Aguilar. Looked like he got pushed off wide there. Thankfully, we kept the caution from coming out. And then Aguilar, I think, signed off in his own special way. Let's go ahead and check out the chat. We got Captain CK here, Tomo, Dylan Waldron, Phoenix, Miss Shapiroful, hopefully I said that right, cheering on Ryan Tebow. Jace Meyer's going to have an off-track excursion, smashing the front end of that number 20 machine. He takes a tow. Does he get some help? Or is that going to be a solo incident? Jace Meyer, Ray Aguilar. Oh, I think he's going to get a tiny bit of help there. Meyer and Aguilar have officially retired. They will not be able to rejoin for this sprint race. Now it's 12 laps here at Silverstone. Then a brief intermission, and then our action-packed feature event. We've got ER cheering on Hartwell. Went a little bit further back, I saw Xavier Zanabe, Ben DePew battling very fiercely for that 10th place spot. Peter Renger is going to be involved in another incident in the number 44 machine. Nick Beaver has come down pit road on his own accord. And look at the side-by-side, a little bit of contact there between DePew and Hughes in the battle for the 12th place spot. So far, so relatively clean. Big thumbs up to Ben DePew as well, running the Team Goon Squad logo on the inside wing of his car. Much appreciated to him there. So, looks like Eric Guillory in the number 95 was a DNS. Unfortunately, Ray Aguilar, Jace Meyer are going to be our two drivers into an early retirement. Now Carl Hartwell in the number 79 machine finds himself side by side with a flying Frenchman, Xavier Zanabe. And look at this, Michael Fairchild with a big send. Starting to cut through the field here. Hartwell is going to lose another spot, falling back to 11th. As Fairchild makes it his third spot, gains Zanabe. 7 positions gained under his belt so far. What happened there? Was that lap traffic? As we're going to go 3 wide. Hartwell, Fairchild, DePew. My goodness, and now it looks like Andrew Neri going to join the party here as we're 3 wide once more. Neri cuts to the inside line. Ben DePew off track into the gravel. Has going to have to wait for a safe spot to rejoin. So Neri is going to grab 8 spots thus far to his name. Up front, Nick Peterson clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 1:38.39. As we see more and more smoke. Not quite sure who that was. As Ryan Tebow, Leo Dalmas battling for 7th. Tebow, the number 27. Dalmas, the number 21 machine. Dalmas hops out of line, tries the long way around. Tebow able to defend in that number 27 machine. Rita Zena cheering on Carl Hartwell as well. Hartwell having a good run, that 79. Now he's dropped 5 spots, but we've seen so many drivers involved in incidents thus far. Almost wondering if Hartwell kind of taking it a little bit easy there as you watch Leo Delmas extending the track limits. Maybe opting to see how long he can just kind of keep his nose clean and stay out of the Thunderdome. Devin Hughes, Andrew Neri, Jacob Bramley, 10th, 11th, 12th. Hughes is our hard charger out on track. He's up 12 spots in the number 60 machine. As you can see, Neri looking for a little bit of draft support. Jacob Bramley, the bright yellow number 6 machine, also looking for an opening. Callaway up front. Clicks off a 1:37.23 his last time by. Now, without having that pressure from Aguilar, Callaway has already built up a 2.7 second gap on second place. And I believe teammate AJ Brenner, yes, that's correct. Callaway and Brenner, currently first and second, are teammates with Squid Gang Racing. And they are also our current points leaders coming to tonight. Neri still looking for an opening against Devin Hughes. But Hughes has some momentum here. Nary's got to be careful as it looks like Jacob Bramley with a big send. That number 6 machine avoids getting to the back of Nary. We go on board Jacob Bramley's number 6 machine. Working the draft against Nary, using all the downforce they can get out of these Super Formula machines. And when you're in the cockpit of one of these things, the track comes by very, very quickly. Now we had another off-track report. This time it's one of the fan favorites, Ryan Tebow, the number 27. Finds himself way off in no man's land. Let's see what happened to Tebow. I believe it's going to be a solo incident and just loses the back end. Thankfully for him, keeps it off the wall here at Silverstone. May have a battle for third shaping up. Christian Gritzko started third, currently third on track. Has a very hungry Nick Peterson, that number 24 machine, closing the gap. You can also see Shazi Zuhair, who's been getting much faster as the season progresses, also joining this fray, maybe seeing a potential top 3 in his sights. Ben Depew, we get the report, has retired the number 19 machine for the sprint race. Hopefully he'll be back out for the feature, as there goes Peterson slotting his way up into third. And now Peterson is going to have Gritzko mirroring him in that 91 machine. Now last time by, Peterson Gritzko ran almost identical lap times. Going to be interesting to see if Zuhair, that number 10, running 5th out on track, is going to be able to close the gap. He's got Antonio Bianchi, the number 17 machine, also closing the gap to him. So Zuhair is going to need a little bit of forward momentum if he wants to catch that battle for third before Bianchi tries to whittle his way around. Now, there are no scheduled pit stops in this 12-lap sprint, and the finishing order for this sprint race will decide the starting order for the feature. Oh, and what was that? I just saw a big lockup. I looked like it was both out of Peterson and Gritzko. And Peterson just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:37.02. Peterson's got some legs here at the British Grand Prix. We're past the year, just now at the halfway mark. Drivers being shown to cross green and white flags, signaling the halfway mark. Devin Hughes, Jacob Bramley side by side in the battle for 9th. Now they're almost 5 seconds back from Fairchild, the number 88, sitting in 8th. But Hughes doing a great job. Didn't have the qualifying he was looking for, but has gained 13 positions so far in the sprint. That's going to put him in a great position when the time the feature event comes around, if he can hold on to it. Because Jacob Bramley in hot pursuit, and there's another battle, Zuhair and Bianchi. Looks like Bianchi's going to take over the 5th place spot. And we just saw a internet report, Devin Hughes with a big blink. David Iezzi, the number 29, he's running 14th. As the birthday boy, Gareth McAllister, trying to work the inside line, the number 25 machine, but Iezzi is going to be set up for the next left-hander and will hold on to that 15th place spot. There is great racing all across the circuit here today, and we've got problems. AJ Brenner, who is running in 2nd, going to fall back to 3rd here. There goes Nick Peterson. Let's see what happened to Brenner. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a solo incident. I think he was about 3 or 4, just way too much curbing. The car just doesn't get settled and locks up the brakes. So now it's Callaway, Peterson, Brenner, your top 3. Gritzko and Bianchi make up the top 5. Callaway holds about a 6.3 second gap over the rest of the field here. And things are pretty tight. Second through about 6th place. All pretty close here within 2 seconds. So Peterson, I believe this could be one of his highest finishing. Who did I just see? Was that Gritzko? Yes, it was. The teal and black 91. Had a massive lockup. That's going to give about a 7/10 advantage to AJ Brenner. Antonio Bianchi 3/10 off the back of the fourth place driver. Michael Fairchild, Leo Delmas also having a battle for 7th. The 21 of Delmas, the number 88 of Fairchild. As it looks like we still have 21 drivers out on track. And we got to pan back to Nick Peterson. He has company from AJ Brenner. Wants that 2nd place spot back. Brenner looking for an opening here against Peterson. Peterson's going to guard those inside line, knowing he only has 3 laps left to go here. And if Peterson slows down the pace defending against Brenner, Gritzko and Bianchi are suddenly going to be right back in it. Don't count Shazi Zuhair out as well, that 6th place driver. He's just about 1.1 seconds back from this 4-car battle for 2nd. That was Bianchi with a big lockup, the number 17 machine. The field's stacking up here. Oh, be careful, boys. It's going to be tight. 0.3 of a second separating 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at this point. Here we go. Brenner pulls up along the inside line. And here comes Christian Gritzko. Peterson tries to defend, guarding that inside. Looks like he may hold on to 3rd here for a little while, but Gritzko trying everything he can to get around Peterson, the number 24 machine. Tucked in behind the draft, you see the dirt off the side of the track. These guys are running on the very ragged edge here. Brenner putting his head down, wants to get away from the absolute melee behind him because as we predicted, Shazi Zuhair has joined the battle in 6th. And as a reminder, this is the battle for 2nd place back. Jaden Callaway has pulled an almost 8-second advantage over the rest of the field at this point in the sprint race. Peterson and Gritzko side by side once more. There's Bianchi carrying a whole lot of corner speed. Bianchi's going to look to the inside line as well. But no, I think that was Gritzko. Spins it. Let's get the replay queued up as now it's Callaway, Brenner, Peterson, your top 3. Was there contact? No, just loses it on his own, I'm afraid. Bianchi was very, very fortunate to get through that unscathed. So now it's Callaway, Brenner, Peterson. Callaway once again clicks off a very fast lap, a 1:36.79 his last time by. Let's go a little bit further back in the field as well. Another great battle. This is 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th out on track. Neri, Zanave, Hartwell, and McAllister. McAllister and Hartwell definitely the 2 closest drivers in this pack. We're on board with Carl Hartwell. You can just see Xavier Zanave up ahead. Zanave putting the pressure on Andrew Neri. Meanwhile, behind Hartwell, that's McAllister, the number 25 machine. And just ahead of that battle, that's Neri and Zanave having a great race here for that 11th place spot. Neri is going to defend against the flying Frenchman for a little while longer as the laps are rapidly being clicked off here. So in the top three, things are pretty stretched out. It's 11th place back. We're seeing a lot of the action as Hartwell has pulled up to the back of Zanave with McAllister riding along here. Loving the NASA livery on Hartwell's number 79 machine as well. A very clean car. The American driver of Hartwell has a Frenchman right ahead and an Aussie right behind. As the white flag is getting ready to get unfurled, here comes Jaden Calloway. Getting ready to start the final lap of this sprint race. And as a reminder to our fans, we'll have a very brief intermission where we interview the top three drivers from the sprint, and then we'll put them right back out on track for the feature. As Calloway, a 1:36.46. Zanave and Neri were within 1/10 of a second at one point. As Hartwell continues to try and fend off the Aussie McAllister. Now AJ Brenner also set his fastest lap of the race last time by, a 1:36.85. As there is Neri keeping the pressure on Devin Hughes. The push to pass fully activated. Drivers have 200 seconds of push to pass available to them per race. Oh, and Neri's going to loop it on his own. Neri spins out, though, as Jeremy Barber we saw crashed out in the back, and out of nowhere, Nick Beaver, the number 87 machine, sitting back in 18th on 1:36.18. An absolute blazing fast lap. And we've got more problems. Leo Delmas and Christian Gritzko, I believe that's who that was, involved in some sort of incident themselves. If the sprint race is this wild with solo incidents, the feature event is going to be pretty spectacular here. Calloway makes his way around the final couple of corners, and he will secure the win here, the sprint race of the British Grand Prix. AJ Brenner locks up second, and Nick Peterson will bring home third. Calloway gonna burn it down here with Brenner and Peterson. We're gonna try and get these drivers up here to victory lane for their interviews. As Beaver once again sets the fastest lap, the last lap of the race, a 1:35.94. Keep an eye on Beaver in the feature event. He's gonna be a bit of a dark horse to keep an eye out on, I think. So we've got Calloway, we've got Brenner, still waiting on Nick Peterson to make his way up here. And then we will get the interview started. Up first, we've got Nick Peterson, the number 24 machine. Nick, a great race, up 2 spots, able to keep your nose relatively clean and put on some really consistent laps here in the sprint.
Yeah, it was pretty fun actually. I was surprised at how many people I actually got to race.
Yeah, it seems like tonight, I mean, wherever we point the camera, there was groups of 2, 3, 4 cars all running within a few hundredths of a second as far as lap times. Were you expecting to have this much clean action here at Silverstone?
No, honestly. The start went as well as I expected. Somebody got collected and I kind of just got lucky. Ran 3 wide a couple corners. It was pretty fun on the first lap, but yeah, it was a decently clean race. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, from our point of view, we had a few incidents, but it was shockingly good racing. Especially, I mean, we've had some hits, we've had some misses in the Super Formula, but I'm excited to see how the feature is going to play out after spectating the sprint. Well, how important do you think it is going to be starting in that third place spot in the feature? Is that going to be helping or hindering you being further up in the front?
I'm thinking, where's third place start? Right side, left side? If I'm on the right,
inside.
I'm a little nervous on how the start is gonna go. I've been messing with my clutch pedals, and it went okay for this sprint race, but I'm curious to see how it goes for the second one.
Well, I'm excited as well. I know the fans are as well at home. Nick, before I let you go, get ready for this feature event. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to my wife Laura for cheering me on tonight, and Ray and Antonio for cheering me on for getting third.
Awesome. Nick, always a pleasure, buddy, and hope to see you back up here after the feature.
Thanks, James.
That was Nick Peterson bringing it home in third. Up next, AJ Brenner, the number 80 machine. AJ, a bit of a roller coaster. You're up there towards the front, fall back just a little, and then had to fight your way right back to second place in those last few laps.
Yeah, it was another one of those skill issue things, but managed to kind of recover, just slow it down a bit and pace out for the last 8 laps or so, and managed to get back to P2, so I was pretty happy with that.
Now, with the excitement you saw in the sprint race, what did you take away from that that's going to improve on your strategy in the longer feature event?
Seems like if you just get away early at the start, I mean, you can gap pretty good and just kind of maintain that pace the majority of the time. So hopefully we can get away clean, and it's a bit better in the start. I keep on wheel spinning a bit.
Yeah, we saw. I mean, a few of you guys had problems with the start. A lot of wheel spin. It seems like each and every week you guys are having to kind of adjust those clutch slip points to hit the optimal starting procedure.
Yeah, you can get so close to getting right and just a little bit off, and you start spinning those up, and you have no chance from there.
Well, AJ, it's always good having you up here. I know you and your teammate are pumped to take those 2 top spots on the podium, mirroring where you're at in the championship. So before I let you go, get ready for this feature event. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helped to make second place possible for you?
Let's give a shout out to Squid Gang Racing and Fabian.
Awesome. AJ, always a pleasure, buddy, and hope to have you back up here in the feature.
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. That was AJ Brenner bringing it home second in the sprint. Up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Jaden Calloway, the number 37. Welcome back, my friend. I mean, for you, it seemed like a nice lap of casual hot lapping here at Silverstone.
A bit unlucky off the start, and I got into P1 early on, and from there on, it was pretty much just hot lapping throughout the race.
Now, Jaden, we were asking your teammate Brenner about this. What changes are you having to do for setup each and every week to try and maximize the start? Or are we getting to the point where we're seeing drivers maybe have less aggressive settings, giving up a few thousandths of a second on the start in favor of not putting themselves in danger of wheel spin?
I do the same start every time. I don't really change it just to stay consistent.
Well, it seems like it's working out well for you. Now, again, after the opening lap, it was pretty smooth sailing. Were you aware of how much 2, 3 wide action was going on all across the circuit today?
I figured there would be some good racing, but no, I didn't see any of it.
Well, hey, sometimes it's better to have a nice, boring race out front instead of being battling for 7 3 wide. So you've got to be happy extending that points lead coming into tonight. Before this race, you were 31 points ahead of your teammate Brenner, 33 points ahead of Aguilar. So, I mean, it's looking like a good late half of the season so far for you.
Yeah, definitely. I like the gap that I've got, but I can't let my guard down because I know they're going to be pressuring me every race. So it'll be interesting.
Well, Jaden, always a lot of fun watching your race, my friend. That 37 machine looking clean as always. And before I let you get ready for this feature, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make the win possible for you?
As always, my friends and family watching and supporting, my team, Squid Gang Racing, and my teammate AJ.
Awesome, Jaden. Always a pleasure, bud, and good luck in the feature.
Thank you.
That was Jaden Calloway bringing it home in the top spot of the sprint race. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in T-minus less than 4.5 minutes for the final feature event of the night. All right, race fans, we are back for the feature event. As a reminder, the grid is being set by the finishing order of the sprint. So Jaden Calloway up front, AJ Brenner starts second, Nick Peterson starting third, Antonio Bianchi starting fourth, Shazi Zuhair starting fifth, Michael Fairchild starts sixth, Jacob Bramley starting seventh, Devin Hughes starting eighth, Xavier Zanave starts ninth, Gareth McAllister starting 10th, Carl Hartwell starting 11th, and Leo Delmas will round out the top 12 here. Now, I'm interested to see, I think Eric Guillory may be making his way out for the feature. So let's see who all we get. Yes, Guillory has taken the grid, so we're just waiting on Jacob Bramley in that number 6 machine, and then we will have a full house here of 25 drivers. Here we go. The lights come on and then click off. And we are underway. And already not the start some of these drivers were looking for. Callaway, a nice clean start. And Nick Peterson's going to challenge for second. We've got problems elsewhere out on track, and it's going to be a big one. Jeremy Barber, Eric Guillory, Ryan Tebow all involved. Tebow takes a tow back to pit road. He's going to be done and out of the feature and going to bed early here. So very, very quickly, we've whittled it down to a 24-driver field. Bianchi working his way up into second. David Iezzi, he takes a tow back to pit road after a crash. He's done it out, down to 23 drivers. Now, this is not where the rest of the field wanted to see Jaden Callaway, already with a 2.1 second gap over the rest of the field. Now, drivers do have a mandatory pit stop here in the feature event to take tires. Everybody's got enough fuel to make it till the end. Now, we are going to get the replays queued up to see what happened to Ryan Tebow, Jeremy Barber, Eric Guillory. Let's go ahead and focus in on Tebow, the number 27 machine. Just loses it and gets absolutely drilled there. So tough to call if Tebow was the cause of that incident. It almost looked like he started to check up, got the car unsettled. And who is that? That is Nick Beaver. No, that's Ray Aguilar, forcing a 3-wide situation. Oh, a little bit of net code there between him and Beaver. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure who they just cut through. That was Leo Delmas, number 21. The closing speed there was almost scary as there's a huge lockup from Ray Aguilar. He is driving a little bit of the red mist behind the wheel of that number 1 machine. Had a dismal performance in the sprint and looking to minimize the points bleed here in the championship. Right ahead of them, Julia Cervone, newcomer here at League Zero, makes her way around Carl Hartwell in the 79, and something has happened to Aguilar as he's going to lose several spots, falling back to 19th. Maybe even 20th. Jace Meyer showing a wheel up to Aguilar. Leo Delmas has company from Peter Rettinger in the number 44 machine. You can also see Ben Depew, Julian Mador, Andrew Neri, Ray Aguilar at this freight train. And we got things going on out there for 4th as well. Shazi Zuhair, AJ Brenner, a heated battle as Antonio Bianchi coming down pit road. His first available lap. Gareth McAllister also down pit road. So 2 drivers looking for a bit of an undercut here. So that's going to be Callaway, Peterson, Zuhair. Now your current top 3. Brenner and Fairchild making up the top 5. Brenner and Fairchild having a battle for 4th. Right behind them, about 2 seconds back, is Bramley, Gritzko, Zanave. 3 wide action once more here at Silverstone. I can't tell you the last time I've seen so much 3 wide action as Gritzko gets a little bit loose there in the 91 machine. There's contact between Gritzko and Zanave. Looks like everybody able to get through fine, but now Julia Cervone, I believe this is her debut here. Hunting for a top 10. I mean, a top 10 finish would be spectacular in a season debut. A top 5 would be even better. Oh, and was that Gritzko? Where'd he go? Where's he going? Gritzko takes a tow back to pit road and is going to retire. He heard the spectators talking about buttered popcorn. Oh, I think there was netcode there. He loses the wing. Tries to get a load up and eventually says, you know what? I'm just going to go home now. Peterson down pit road the 4th lap, also going for an undercut. Ray Aguilar joining the list of drivers coming down pit road very early. So now with I'm not quite sure what's going on as far as the pit cycles. It seems like everybody's just kind of throwing something at the dartboard and seeing what sticks early on in this race. And we've whittled it down to a 22-car shootout of the 25 who started. Second, third, and fourth, Zuhair, Fairchild, Brenner separated by about a second. And no, the defending champ, Raymond Aguilar, showing involved in a crash and then a tow. Oh no. I hate to do this, but Aguilar has binned it, leaving pit road. Oh, that is gutting for Aguilar. He has not had the season he was looking for. And I know from knowing Aguilar for a long time that the frustrations must be high. Shazi Zuhair also coming down pit road. Brenner, I believe, is going to stay out here in the number 80 machine. Andrew Neri also down pit road. Looks like right as we pan to Callaway, the race leader, he's got a comfortable 6.4 second gap over Brenner, but it looks like he had a little bit of a slide there. Now for the fans at home, Carl Harwell now moving all the way up to 7th in the number 79, so he's having a great race. As we watch Michael Fairchild, Devin Hughes, Julian Madore having their own battle. Looks like Jace Meyer might get pulled back into this as well. So this could be the battle for the top 10. Jeremy Barber is going to join the list of drivers retiring early. Let's see what happened to Barber. It looked like Zuhair was also involved in an incident. I wonder if they were tied up together here. Barber loses it. And what is going on here? Devin Hughes and Michael Fairchild. So that's what happens to Barber. And let's see what happens. Oh, it's going to be a 3 wide into 1. And that was just never going to happen. Was that Michael Fairchild I just saw getting launched to orbit? We're focusing on Fairchild, the number 88 machine. Fairchild going, and gone out of the arena. So Fairchild, Hughes, Meyer, all out together in a massive pile up into turn 1. Leo Delmas, Ben Depew, battling for the 7th place spot. We've whittled it down to 17 drivers out on track. So 8 have been sent home early. Delmas and Depew pulling a little bit of side-by-side action. Depew, our hard charger, up 14 positions. Delmas up 5 so far, as Depu's going to work the inside line, and he makes it 15 spots gained in the black and yellow. But look at this. Delmas is going to fire right back along the inside line. Oh, this is spectacular racing between the two. Delmas tucks in behind the number 19 machine of Depew. Callaway up front, clicking off fast laps. No surprise there, a 1:37.05 out of the number 37 machine. He's got his teammate AJ Brenner about 8.5 seconds back in second. Jacob Bramley holding on to third. Nick Beaver coming down pit road. I believe he came down pit road. Yeah, so Beaver has completed a stop. Now, in the sprint race, Beaver was extremely fast. Going to be interesting to see what he can do here in the feature. 24 laps, twice the distance of what we ran in the sprint. As here comes Julia Cervone battling with the flying Frenchman, Zenave. As she moves that number 18 machine up into fourth. Zenave trying to track back down Cervone, but has Carl Hartwell in the number 6 machine. Zenave trying to fire back, knowing that Hartwell looking for, I believe, his first top 5. Finished great in the sprint. Now AJ Brenner coming down pit road with an undercut. There's going to be about 8 different pit stop strategies here tonight in the feature. We're watching Zenave trying to catch back up to Cervone. Cervone looking for her first top 3 finish ever. Carl Hartwell running great here. Hartwell has been getting progressively faster and faster every time he's out on track. And I believe Hartwell has finished on pole, or started on pole, I should say, in one race, as Hartwell currently 14th in the points championship. Here's Hartwell at number 79 behind the flying Frenchman. Another battle out on track. Leo Delmas has Peter Rettinger in the all-black 44 machine. Callaway clicks off another 1:37.0. 300ths of a second slower than his fastest lap of the race. Now, I would imagine Callaway is going to stretch this pretty far late into the run before he comes down pit road for that mandatory tire stop. That way he'll spend the least amount of time on fresh tires as possible. Now, we talked about him early on in the show, and he's starting to get some momentum formed up here. Nick Beaver is up 4 spots, came down pit road on lap 5, tucked in behind the Aussie McAllister. And yeah, very impressed despite the attrition we've had here today. Still great racing across the track. We got 3 distinct battles going on. Ben DePew, Peter Rettinger, Bianchi, and Madore. You've got Brenner and Peterson, McAllister and Beaver. Speaking of, it looks like Beaver trying to make a move against McAllister here. McAllister defends strongly in the number 25. I like the simplistic but clean paint on Beaver's number 87 machine. As he's working that draft against McAllister, pulls out at the last second to take over the 13th place spot. That will be Beaver's 5th position gain so far this evening. We check back in on Jaden Calloway. Now the top 8 drivers out on track have yet to box, but Calloway currently holds just about a 15-second advantage over Jacob Bramley. Julius Cervone sitting in 3rd. Zanave and Hartwell round out the top 5. Now I want to check in on Hartwell. Let's see what his best result so far this season is. His best was a 6th. Almost a full month ago at Motegi. So if he's able to bring home a top 5, that would be extremely impressive for a driver who's come a long way here at League Zero. Eric Guillory down on pit road. Still 17 of the original 25 remaining. Callaway, look at that, a 136.695. He is moving. That number 37 machine backed by Squid Gang Racing having a fantastic run. Now, Squid Gang Racing is in both the individual championship lead as well as the team standings. Avanti Autosports with Antonio Bianchi and Ray Aguilar 2nd in points. Rodent Racing 3rd in points. Rodent Racing consisting of Michael Fairchild and Devin Hughes. Leo Delmas also on pit road. Things are starting to tighten up a little bit here in the battle for 4th. Cervone, she's pulled about 1.6 seconds over Zanave, but Zanave has Hartwell and Ben DePew right in tow here. Hard Charger out on track. Ben DePew, that number 19 machine sitting 6th, is up 16 positions here so far at Silverstone in the feature event. Get a little bit wider angle shot. This shows the 3-car battle for 4th. Cervone, she's pulling even more time over this battle, and it looks like Hartwell getting a little bit antsy. Takes a look to the inside line of Zanave. Zanave seizes this opportunity to come down pit road. Hartwell will stay out. And Hartwell, I believe, is going to move up into 4th at this point based on pit strategy. So Hartwell moves up to 4th based on pit strategy. Keep an eye out. Antonio Bianchi back in 6th. Came down pit road. I believe he was one of the first drivers down pit road on lap 2. The first lap that they were allowed to come down and take tires. So he may be a contender here for a top 5, if not better. Let's check in on other drivers. Julian Midore looks to be closing up to Andrew Neri. This will be the battle for 15th. Midore came down pit road on lap 11. Neri on lap 4 as we get word Carl Hartwell and Peter Redinger are going to come down pit road. Hartwell hard on the binders, getting it wound up in time for the pit stop. As we are officially past the halfway mark of this feature event. It's Callaway, Bramley, and Cervone, the top three. Have yet to box. Bianchi moves up to 4th. Bianchi's going to be about 31.3 seconds back from Callaway. Not sure how this is going to pan out. The pit lane time, about 38 seconds from the time you cross the entry cones to you cross the exit cones. It's going to be very close to see where Callaway and Bianchi are out on track once these green flag stops are completed. And again, we're expecting Callaway to box very late in the race. He wants to minimize the time on those fresh tires. Shazi Zuhair has company from Carl Hartwell. Hartwell rolling out on fresh tires here. Julia Cervone, she's coming down pit road for her one and only stop. That's going to leave Callaway and Bramley first and second. And Eric Guillory back in 17th. The only 3 drivers who have yet to box here. Peter Redinger, Leo Delmas battling fiercely for 13th. Side by side they go. Delmas, the purple and white. Redinger, the predominantly black number 44. Redinger hard on the brakes. He's going to lose quite a bit of time here to Delmas. Now, Meyer is correcting me. I am wrong. Rodent Racing, as I get corrected from Jace Meyer, is Leo Delmas and Jace Meyer. I've got everything pulled up on the on a separate monitor here with the driver standings, and something didn't quite line up out of peripheral vision. So my apologies there to my friends over at Rodent Racing, which again consists of Jace Meyer and Leo Delmas. We're watching Peter Redinger trying to catch back up to Delmas. Callaway still holding the race lead, a 20-second gap over Jacob Bramley. Eric Guillory involved in incident. The number 95 machine is going to wait for clean track here to pull back out onto the surface, giving plenty of berth to the other drivers. And that, I believe, yes, so Jaden Callaway putting Guillory a lap down. As Guillory takes his opportunity to come down pit road. Callaway also coming down pit road. Eric Guillory takes a tow, unfortunately, so he's done out of this event. Let's see Jacob Bramley comes down pit road. Where is this going to put Antonio Bianchi? Once these pit cycles are wrapped up, Bianchi spent 7.97 seconds in his pit stall. Callaway out in 7.28. What is the split going to be here? Bramley just gets to his pit stall. Bianchi's going to move up to second. How far is Bianchi going to be behind Callaway? Looking like it's settling in around that 9-second mark. So Callaway will stay ahead of Bianchi, but Bianchi with a pretty gutsy strategy will move all the way up to second. AJ Brenner has moved up to third. Peterson and Bieber round out the top 5. And Callaway wasting no time. He clicked off a 136.03 last time by, but he did have at least one off track, which invalidated the lap time. We also got a crash report as well. Ben Depew was involved in an incident, and he falls all the way back to 15th. Depew is running extremely well here. Looks like that's going to be Zanave right ahead of him. And Depew, unfortunately, just loops it out, spins it around, and then has to wait for the track to clear itself out. And who is that with a purple lap time? That is Antonio Bianchi, a 136.6, the fastest lap of the race from the Italian Stallion. Things are meshing well for the number 17 here at Silverstone. Bianchi gained a little bit of ground there on Callaway. And Nick Bieber finds himself in a precarious spot and forcing the 3 wide. That was Shazi Zuhair, Julius Servone blitzing by. I don't think they knew they were going to be in a 3 wide situation until it was done and over with. Zuhair down 2 spots, but running very well. Servone, she's up 8 positions so far. Looks like Ben Depew has more company from Julian Madore. Now, it looked like Depew didn't take any damage, but these tires can be a bit sensitive to heat if you find yourself pointing the wrong direction. Let's see if we can get an onboard with Midori, that number 78 machine. It's in about 4/10 back from Depew. And you can hear the tires squirming in these machines. The drivers really on the ragged edge here all across the field. I want to pan a little bit further up. There's Shazi Zuhair, Julius Servone, and now Nick Bieber joining the hunt. Bieber up 9 spots, sitting 9th out on track. Let's see, Beaver has had a few off-track excursions, but able to overcome a little bit here. Zuhair pulls a bit of a gap to Servone. Servone has all sorts of company. Here comes Beaver, looking to take that 8th place spot away. Stays tucked in into turn 1, working that draft, but unfortunately Beaver's also in dirty air. Can make it a little bit tougher to handle as, Servone has a bit of a bobble there, a micro lockup. Beaver is going to take the attack. No, Beaver has the check up. This is the racing we came for, ladies and gentlemen. So Beaver moves up to 8th. Can he maybe track down Shazi Zuhair? Zuhair's been able to pull a 1.9 second advantage while Beaver and Servone were having such a heated battle. Servone trying to fire back against Beaver's number 87 machine. Less than a quarter of a second separating these two drivers. On board with Servone. Like a little bit of a bobble there. And further back, another 3-car battle. It's Zanave, Delmas, and Rettinger. This is the 3-car battle for 11th. It looks like Rettinger, it's a bit of a accordion effect here. They close the gap back up. I'm not sure if that's dirty air affecting it or what the issue may be. And then spread back apart to about a half second between the 3 of them. Now during this, Callaway, another 136 point, I believe that's a 3.5. So absolutely blistering fast in that number 37 machine. Rettinger, you can see how much corner speed he's trying to carry in the 44, but Delmas is going to have a little bit better drive here, trying to pull back up to Zanave. And there we go. See the 3 starting to pull back together. Now, I think I missed the incident. Julius Servone was involved in some sort of moment in the number 18 machine. Let's see what happened. I mean, I'm assuming that's a solo incident. Yep, just spins it careening around. As Servone drops all the way back to 13th. We check back in on Callaway, and he is in the comfort spot, no man's land. Just a few laps short or left to go. Almost an 8-second advantage over Bianchi. So for the most part, the field fairly stretched out Brenner clicks off a 136.17, setting the fastest lap of the race. 3 closest drivers we have right now. Delmas, Zanave, and Rettinger. Ben DePew coming down pit road. That would be his second time in pit road tonight. I'm not sure if he's got a drive-through penalty or maybe sustained a little bit of damage here. Delmas pulls away. Zanave and Rettinger still separated by about a quarter of a second in the battle for 11th. And Rettinger just doesn't seem like he can quite get there. We check back in on Jaden Calloway. White flag will be out next time by Calloway. Absolutely rocking and rolling here. Now I want to say last week he had the hat trick and a half. Picked up both wins at Suzuka, set the fastest lap of the race, qualified on pole. So he will miss out on the sprint race pole here tonight at Silverstone, but other than that, you couldn't ask for a much better evening. A half lap left to go for Callaway before the white flag is out. We just got a report Ben DePew involved in another incident. DePew started tonight off so strong. I mean, he's got the pace. I think once the consistency comes in, DePew is going to be a contender. Oh, loses the back end, gets that Super 4-wheeler machine totally airborne. You don't see that often. And here is the battle for 7th. Zuhair. And now Beaver pulling up, trying to look at the inside line. Bianchi clicks off the fastest lap once more, a 136.04. Beaver having a great race here. Runs a part-time schedule here at League Zero. But when he comes out, puts on a great show for the fans. And it looks like he's going to hold that position from Zuhair. Let's check in Jaden Calloway, rounding the last couple sections of the circuit. And put your hands together. Calloway gets ready to head into the final chicane. And credit to Antonio Bianchi, closed that gap to within 2 seconds here at the end. And Jaden Calloway picks up the win of the feature event of the British Grand Prix. Antonio Bianchi finishing second, and AJ Brenner will finish third. We're going to get these drivers up here to victory lane. We're going to wait on Callaway, Bianchi, Brenner to make their way up as the rest of the field slowly crosses the start-finish line here at Silverstone. Here we go. We're going to get the party started. Up first, it's AJ Brenner joining us for the second time here tonight. And AJ, we used to laugh and say every time I wished you luck in the feature event, things would go terribly wrong. But seemed like for the most part tonight, able to bring home a great, solid result.
Yeah, I guess my luck's changing on that end a bit. So it was a good race. Just I guess I didn't have the pace towards the back half, so couldn't catch up to Antonio there.
Now, AJ, it seemed like everybody kind of threw pit strategy at a dartboard, and wherever happened. Did you have a certain strategy coming into tonight on when you were going to try and box?
So I was trying to cover off Antonio. He was about like 21 seconds or so, and that was about the rough loss. And I think I had a little bit of a slow stop, and he came out about a second, and then I just let him gap me from there. So we tried it, but it just didn't work out this time.
Now, it seemed like a lot of fun. And talking about that pit strategy, do you notice much of a difference in how long it takes those tires to get up to temp, depending on when you come down pit road?
Yeah, I felt like I couldn't get mine up to temp for maybe 4 or 5 laps, and then I started flying. But by then, Antonio was 6 seconds up the road, so it was a bit challenging this time.
Well, AJ, it's always a great time having you up here in the top 3, extending that points and securing another second place points night for you, so you got to be happy. And before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make these great results possible for you?
I'm just going to give a shout out to Squid Gang Racing, as always.
Awesome. AJ, always a pleasure, bud, and hope to have you back up here next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was AJ Brenner bringing it home in third. Up next, the Italian stallion himself, Antonio Bianchi. Welcome back to the party, bud.
Hell yeah, dude. We're back in business. It's kind of nice to be up here again. I didn't think I'd be back here anytime soon.
It's been way too long, that's for sure. And seems like, as at least for the team, you're starting to get better and better results. I mean, this is, I believe, the second place finish you've had so far this season, joining a couple of thirds. So good to see some momentum getting built up for you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice to get some of those, especially off last race, man. That Suzuka bump caught me out twice, so I just had an absolutely atrocious race there, which was really unfortunate. But, and again, from positions where I could have been third or fourth. So, yeah, no, when I'm on, I seem to be pretty good, but it seems like it's checkers or wreckers for me. But happy to pull a fourth and a second out here. That was a good points haul for me. I needed it. I'm close with Shaji there for, I think we're third or fourth in the championship. Can't remember now. Maybe fifth.
One of those numbers for sure, but
something.
Yeah, checking. We are checking. Antonio, you're currently fifth in points. You coming into tonight, you were 18 behind Zuhair, so you're right. Things are going to definitely tighten up, and definitely not. I would say not out of the realm of possibilities to even try and work your way into the top 3 in the championship, depending on how this back half of the season goes.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely feel bad for Ray. He's been having a few rough races there. Definitely getting taken out by stuff that's not necessarily his fault. So it's unfortunate for him. He's probably out of contention to win. But yeah, no, I mean, shoot. Hopefully he doesn't have any more bad races, or we might have a Perez moment. I might catch him.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting as this season progresses. I mean, this was round 7 of the championship, so, I mean, well into the back half, and things are tightening up, but you got to be pumped. It was great racing all across the track tonight, a great points night for you, and a clean number 17 machine with a beautiful undercut strategy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like the undercut there. It's always done me well every year, so I'll take it.
Well, Antonio, always a pleasure, buddy. Before I let you go and celebrate and do all the admin stuff, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped bring home second place for you?
Man, as always, shout out to my teammate. Always appreciate him being there, his help and stuff like that. Shout out to, always James East for a beautiful broadcast he puts on, or you put on, I should say. And shout out to Joe for his race control stuff. And then, it was a fun race there between Jaden and I, too. I ended up getting fastest lap. We were fighting back and forth for that. I don't know if that came up, but
It
I ended
did.
up beating him. So, second fastest lap ever. I'll take it.
A 1:36.04, blazing fast.
Hell yeah.
Well, Antonio, always a pleasure, bud. Great job all the way throughout tonight, and hope to have you back up here next week.
Yep, we'll see you, man.
Thank you, sir. That was Antonio Bianchi bringing it home in second, but now, back-to-back, it's Mr. Jaden Calloway, the 37. Jaden almost got the perfect sweep once more. You did it last week. Bianchi was able to get the fastest lap in the feature, and I think it was Aguilar had the original pole, but I mean, as far as points go, you got all of them.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm happy with it. I cut it a little close at the end, almost ran out of fuel. It felt a little like Lewis Hamilton getting chased down by Max, but it was a good race overall.
Yeah, I was watching that in the live time and making a comment on it, and I wasn't sure if you were just backing out the pace and taking it easy, but very quickly, Bianchi gained a couple seconds in the back half of that last lap.
Yeah, I was worried. I'm not going to lie. I was a little worried, but luckily I had good enough of a gap to stay in front.
Well, it seemed like it worked out well for you, and you and I have talked about it a whole lot this season, but it seems like once you get out there up front, as long as you can keep the traffic clear, that is where you are absolutely thriving in the 37.
Yeah, it's nice being able to be out front in clean air and just kind of hot lap. It's a lot harder when you're in the pack. So I think I've been pretty fortunate this season.
Well, Jaden, speaking of fortunate, you've made it 4 wins in a row here tonight. Is a 5th place in a row possible for you and the team?
I think so. I know next week it won't be easy once again. Ray is fast as Zandvoort, and I know all of the other guys are going to be working hard too. But going to try to get as many as I can.
Well, Jaden, it's always a pleasure watching you drive, man. Putting on a clinic out here at Silverstone. And my friend, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make this entire thing possible for you?
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to my friends and family who watch and support me as always. My team, Squid Gang Racing, my teammate AJ. And I'd like to shout out you guys at Team Goon Squad. You always do such a great job on the broadcast.
Oh, we couldn't do it without you guys, the drivers, Jaden. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. And congratulations at leaving the British Grand Prix with a pretty good points lead. And just, again, putting on an absolute show for the fans here tonight.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, buddy. That was Jaden Calloway bringing it home in the top spot. Back-to-back wins. The feature results, Jaden Calloway in the top spot, Antonio Bianchi finishing second, and AJ Brenner will round out the top 3. On behalf of Team Goon Squad, my name has been James East, representing LeagueZero.net. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.